Yo, what's up, YouTube family? It's your boy Koozie back at you with another hot TikTok reaction video. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop some new hot videos just like this. One more thing, don't forget, don't believe everything you hear or see in these videos. Don't believe everything that I say in these videos. Always do your own research and always use your own discernment. Let's get right to it.
Where is the man that left his family somewhere in the South to go to California and tell them to leave the coast because it was a tsunami coming? And now we literally seeing a 7 magnitude. Oh my God.
Remember that?
I figured out what they doing and I'm about to connect all the dots. Now, what if I told you that those UFOs are not really UFOs that they're talking about in the mass media? They are basically drones that has a direct energy weapon that has a space-based laser generating system that can create pestilence. Everything that you're seeing taking place is the epitome of frequency warfare that can engineer asymmetrical biochemical warfare, because the frequencies from the direct energy weapon can cause neurological misfire, it can manipulate your nervous system, and it can also put holes in your auric field and make you depressed. So, it's not a coincidence that the UnitedHealthcare CEO was just unalived, while simultaneously you have these UFOs, which are basically drones that extract direct energy weapon beams that can manipulate your physiology and your neurological capacity. So one thing you got to understand about this simulation that we're living in, everything operates on a cyclum of a cycle, which is a pattern. And those patterns operates on the frequencies of time that is being manipulated by the three-dimensional construct. What you're looking at is a smoke screen, right? It's part of the dualistic paradox of illusions. So what you seeing in the sky ain't no damn UFOs. Those are drones that have direct energy weapons that's coming from the Luciferian Anunnaki faction, right? Because they are basically working with the Black Hats, which is basically the deep state shadow government that wants to manipulate everything within the factions of the simulation. So that's why the guy at the bottom of this picture, he said that we're on the brink of another shutdown.
Think about it. Project BB. Do your research.
You want to know what I think about the CEO from UnitedHealthcare? That man was hunted down. That man was watched. He was played. He was stalked. There was no difference at all between a man in the middle of the woods sitting up in a tree, patiently waiting for a deer to come by. You see, I know this area very well. I watched all the videos of where this person walked by and where they were creeping. I seen the pictures that I recognize. It's all in a very small area. This guy that did this crime was waiting patiently across the street, down the side street, knew that he was going to come. Somebody informed him that this man, somebody informed him that this man was going to be there at 6:45 in front of the Hilton, walking in front of the Hilton. There was no way to project what time he was going to be there. So I don't believe he was in it alone. Walked down the block, walked into a local Starbucks, got pictures of him there, pulled off his mask. You see who he is. Had a cup of coffee, patiently walked across from the Hilton and waited until approximately 6:44 in the morning. Saw this man walking down 6th Avenue into the Hilton. Caught him before he ever made it. Walked up behind him. You've all seen the film. Walked up, that coward walked up behind him right to the back of the head. 1 or 2 into the legs. Made sure he was gone. Jumped on his little bicycle and fled away like a little fledgling. But nobody knows nothing, right? Nobody seen nothing. Nobody heard nothing. You've got cameras all around New York City. Hell, I get a traffic ticket at least once or twice a week driving my car. So those cameras going click, 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 click. But nobody can tell you nothing, right? This story this story, and it's going to unfold. We will find out what happened. But this story is much, much bigger than a man losing his life on the streets in New York City.
Big facts.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the alleged Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock was a known gun runner for the Saudi prince? And wouldn't it be crazy if the Prince of Saudi Arabia, a man named Al Walid, owned the top levels of Mandalay Bay, including the 32nd floor, where the shooting is said to have taken place? And wouldn't it also be crazy if King Salman, that would be the king of Saudi Arabia, was actually in Las Vegas that night, October 17th, staying just down the street at the Tropicana? Wouldn't it be crazy if there's footage available on the internet of what appears to be, they call it a SWAT team, but it looks more like, to me, like private security team, or maybe a group of Saudi assassins moving through hotel lobbies? Wouldn't it be crazy if at the time of the shooting, Prince Al Walid was attempting a coup in Saudi Arabia? He wanted to take King Salman out. And wouldn't it be crazy if the Mandalay Bay had a helicopter pad which could have been utilized for escape routes? And wouldn't it be crazy if this whole thing was actually a botched assassination attempt?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. That's some crazy stuff. Don't get mad at me, man. I'm just reacting to the video. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he talking about, man.
So I'm worried that what is going on right now is that we are being influenced through a campaign to be acclimated to an idea that might be true, but we're giving events that are not true in order to influence that idea. I don't know if I'm being clear. I am concerned right now that there are fake psyops, that there are things being done by the United States government to put fear and confusion into the American and global public about UAP for an agenda. So are you concerned at all that unprecedented events like this, they make zero sense, that they just think we're idiots, and that all of a sudden they're trying to create this fear of these unidentified unknowns, unknown origin, when it's so easy to track? George and I directly know and have been exposed to footage of high capability of looking at these types of things. That is fact. So, like, are you concerned at all that this is a charade?
Just a little something to make your mind wonder.
What's up, y'all? Crash here. Look, man, I've been trying to do my best to bring y'all truth, honesty, love, and everything. Y'all need to wake up. And I'm not joking when I say wake up. This is on the dark web. This is behind the ice in Antarctica. So is this. Like, it's just real footage, y'all. So is this right here. And this. It is freaking beautiful past that ice wall. But nobody wants to realize it. Everybody's trapped in their own illusion. Everybody is living in their own freaking truth. But they don't know the real truth, y'all. Like, I wish I could explain it to you better, but only a select few people are going to believe. Only a select few people are going to be like, maybe this is real. Like, I haven't lied about anything that I'm putting on my internet, on my social statuses or anything like that. I have a really, really, really secretive friends that have this footage and have footage of other things too. And I'm trying to feed it to y'all slowly, because people will come on my social status and sit here and say, oh, it's not true. Oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're this. I don't have no freaking reason to lie. I'm a grown adult. These pictures are real, y'all. The stuff that's happening is real. 70% of your freaking food is chemicals. We're living in a gate-kept community. It's just a really fucking, excuse my freaking big gate-kept community. People need to wake up. And when we stand together, we actually stand together and say no more, we won't have to live like we're living anymore, y'all. Like, the truth is out there. You just got to search for it. This is off the dark web, y'all. There are actual footage, videos, and everything of real life outside of where we are. It goes so much deeper than you will ever freaking know. But yet, you're living in your own illusion. Wake up, y'all. Like, seriously, wake up. Do your own research. That's what we are screaming. These pictures that I just showed you are legit, 100% real. And it just shocks me so bad that people don't believe. Like, we're stuck inside. Whether our earth is round or flat, I don't really care. What I do care about is eating the wrong thing, raising my kids up to believe this is all there is, and letting the government pour chemicals into our body so we work all of our life and then we die. Please, please do your research. You won't find this on the regular web. You can't even search it. You have to have good friends in places where they can reach out and touch this stuff. I have a lot of them. I love y'all. I'm bringing y'all truth, honesty, and clarity, y'all. Clarity. Stop going to these restaurants and eating all these chemicals. Stop using fluoride. Stop believing what NASA is telling y'all. NASA means to lead astray. We wasn't meant or built to sit here and work all of our lives, y'all. We were meant to be a community as one and live together and be a happy, peaceful people. That's what it really is. I love y'all, man. I love y'all so much. Do your own research.
Something to make your mind go, I wonder, could that be? Let me know what you think down below. Do you believe them? Or you think it's all just cap? Whichever one you believe, let me know in the comment section and why.
A big apology is owed to any patients that were ever committed to a psych ward for UFO sightings, existence of aliens, conspiracies, all of that. I mean, I'm talking at least an apology. Have y'all seen what's been going on? So there have been what they're calling drone sightings, these unidentified flying objects, or the other word UAPs, hovering over big military bases. Like there's one in the UK, there's one over in New Jersey right now. I talked to tens of patients that came into the psych ward due to UFO sightings, and they were committed by loved ones, or, you know, they were talking about it and it might have driven them to insanity. But like, just to give y'all some insight on what they're finding with these UFOs right now, they've already ruled out the fact that it can't be a plane. It's too low in the sky. They're about as big as a car. They've even migrated over residential areas. In New Jersey, it's been happening for the past 2 weeks. There's tons of videos that civilians are getting on their phones, and it's very loud. It's like hard to ignore. And they're not moving like any type of technology that we have shown ourselves to have. Like, if y'all watch my other videos, y'all know I've talked about how the government's been hiding technology that they've been able to use and operate and know about and test on for tens of years, but they don't release it to the public. But this right here is very interesting. Like, why are these what they're calling drones? And I think that's just more of a tactic to try to make us calm down, because when you hear drone, it seems familiar, but this is not anything familiar. They dodge military combat engagement. The drone warfare technology, or whatever you want to call it, that the military tried on to use against it hasn't worked. And the way in which it can move and some of the abilities that have been tracked by this thing are unlike anything that we use in our technology today. This is actually going on. Let's look up New Jersey UFOs. Look them up. We are no longer in tinfoil territory. This is facts. Now, what these things are, we don't know. What we do know is that it is a high military concern right now. But honestly speaking, I'm not embracing any fear for these things, because the fact that they have hovered over military bases and the fact that our government has been doing all of these corrupt things in other countries for so long, and the bases that it's chosen to go over, it's kind of interesting. It's like, if this is extraterrestrial, then it's like, are they sending a message? Like, one thing we got to understand is we live in the dark ages of the age of information. Like, technology, there's certain things that have been out for thousands of years that we haven't been privy to today. We've been lied to about the pyramids. You know, I made a video talking about J.P. Morgan and Nikola Tesla because free energy has been available. Tesla's experiments and everything, his research that he's done would give the world free energy rather than us paying for this power grid that is really not sufficient, but it just enriches a small population of the elites. Now I sound like the patients that used to come to the psych ward and tell me about these things. And I never turned them away. I never labeled them and was just like, oh no. The thing I learned most about working in the psych ward is that you really don't know anything. Like, it's so many different pathways in which the human mind and behaviors and psyche can just break down. Whether it's chemically induced, whether it's trauma induced, whether you see something that our human experience cannot cope with and there's no place to lay it. So therefore your brain just kind of gets screwed around like spaghetti noodles, or you just live in an existence where you know what you saw is what you saw, but nobody can confirm it or acknowledge it. So therefore you kind of drive yourself nuts in an echo chamber of your own thoughts. And we owe them people an apology, man. It's a lot of people that's been locked up for that very reason and being in tinfoil hat territory. I seen some damn UFOs myself. In Arizona, I seen one make it was like 3 purple lights that kind of made a triangle, and they started like moving around and stuff like that. And I'm telling my wife, I'm like, babe, you ever seen anything like this? She looking and acknowledging too, but then she's just like, hey, nah, you know, I don't want to be looking at this too much because I'm gonna want to know what it is, and this is weird, so I'm gonna just chalk it up to, you know, I don't know, something that we don't know about, but it exists out here. I couldn't look away. I'm like, yo, babe, this is weird. I never looked too much into it from then. I've already acknowledged the fact that, you know what, there's technology that the government has that they might use. You know, it's a lot of barren land out here in this desert in Arizona, so that, you know, leaves room for a lot of different maybe experimentations or secret military bases. Who knows, man? I'm not trying to, like, you know, throw y'all into this school of thought to just get lost, but to acknowledge what's right in front of our faces, what's on the news, what's happening, what's on, you know, what the citizens are reporting, because really what's on the news, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of propaganda material, propagandized, whatever. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Shout out to all the patients that's been put in award for acknowledging the existence for UFOs. Hey, y'all were right. And I've said that in other videos too, because I never disacknowledge y'all. But to the public, to the masses, hey, we got to keep a pulse on this. Come back to this video, bookmark this, whatever the case may be. You know, come back with your new findings. For those of y'all that do know some more things about this and details, drop it in the comment section so people can like it, reference it, and stay hip. This is what I love about, like, the current age of social media. Like, we don't have to filter our knowledge, our findings, our experiences through the powers that be. You know, they'll try to control our voice and our speech and different things like that. But at the end of the day, the people know what the people know. And we gonna spread that knowledge, because there's some people that are on ground zero. There are some people that have experienced these things, and we culminate all that knowledge together in a comment section or just under a video or whatever. It makes it hard to deny. You can iOS update your brain on everything that you need to know about a subject sometimes in the comment section, because people aren't afraid to contribute what they know and leave a light for others to be able to find the truth that they're looking for. So, you know, I like these interesting topics and talking about all this stuff and how it loops in and connects and whatnot. So, like this video, man, and spread this word, man, because this is something else.
Man, it's a lot going on right now.
So everybody put your hands in the air. It's an all-night party that we're getting into. You think it's all over, then the joke is on you. It's a dream, it's a scene, and it's so brand new. If you think you can't stop it, then the joke is on you. It's an all-night party that we're getting into. You think it's all over, then the joke is on you. It's a dream, it's a scene, and it's so brand new. If you think you can't.
Y'all think the ban really gonna happen this time? Let me know down below in the comment section. I know why they would want to ban TikTok. I'm pretty sure you do too, because of these videos, you know, and all the stuff that we find out that they don't want us to find out. People saying he a robot, man. I believe he just loaded. He probably just full of that shit. You know what I'm saying? He probably just high.
I really just don't think you guys are ready for what I'm about to tell you. You need to have an open mind if you're going to understand that almost everything bad and evil in modern day society is from the fallen angel. In part 1, I told you guys a couple things that the Watchers taught humanity in the times of Noah. So let's get into part 2 and dive a little deeper into just how much heavenly knowledge they shared with us against God's will. Did y'all know that earth signs, moon signs, fire signs, all of that astrology comes from the fallen angels? For example, the fallen angel Araquiel taught humans the signs of the earth, later morphing into earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, all of that comes from Araquiel. Araquiel taught humans to practice geomancy, which is a practice that involves divining the meanings of geographical features. It can also be called feng shui, earth divinations that uses compasses and charms to coordinate interactions between people. Another fallen angel, Shazaquiel, taught us meteorology. That angel's name translates to the shooting star of God. Another angel called Sariel taught humans the courses of the moon and how to measure time through it and attempt to predict the future. Penemu, another fallen angel, taught humans how to use ink and paper. Notice the name, Penemu. And what do we write with? Pencil. Pens. This, y'all, everything is connected. Spelling, spells, cursive, curses. Come on, guys, stay woke. And something that you can see a lot today is that whole divine feminine thing. That came from the Watchers as well. Remember that they procreated with mortal women. Now, these angelic beings lusted for these women, but the women, they lusted for something different. Power. They wanted to know how to use their God-given abilities, such as the ability to give birth, in a way that will bring them power and dominion on earth. So their angelic partners taught them ways of divination, which included using their menstrual cycle, if you know what I mean, to do paganistic ritual. And this is also where sacrificing, little ones came from. Not only that, I'm gonna blow y'all minds right now. They taught them how to use sorcery, charms, and spells, not only with words but with music. Now, if you watch my other videos, y'all know what happened to the mortal women after the great flood of Noah. If you haven't seen my videos, I'm gonna break it down for you. God cursed these women to roam the seas as sirens, aka mermaid. And just in case y'all didn't know, mermaids are not cute and pretty like Ariel, they're evil. So anyway, these sirens are part of the demonic marine kingdom that is cursed to be without dwelling until their time of judgment. Now, what was the thing that they learned from their angelic partners? Sorcery with music. What do sirens do to lure people into the water to unalive them? They sing songs that put you in a trance. Oh my gosh, did I just blow your mind? You guys just are not ready. Like, you're not ready for this. Is this not crazy? I have been going down this rabbit hole for weeks and I don't regret it. Anyway, y'all, that is the end of this video. But if you want a part 3, let me know in the comments. And as always, make sure you like and follow.
Facts, man. I talked about this last year, man, and some of my older videos. Man, if y'all new to the channel, even if you've been on the channel for a while, you've been subscribing, you ain't checked out the old videos, man, you behind. I'm just gonna say it like that, you behind, you know what I'm saying, on the knowledge game. It's a bunch of stuff that you can soak up in the older videos that I've been talking about that some people, other channels might have already talked about, but probably not in, such a deep dive. Some of them might haven't even talked about this stuff yet, but go check out my older videos, you know what I'm saying? Start from the bottom on up, especially if you're new to the channel, man. Especially if you're new to the channel. Start from the bottom and work your way up to the top to present day. I'm telling you, you missed out on a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of game to soak up. Like, on what's really going on, some stuff that went on, and some stuff that's fit to happen. Like, a lot of the stuff we've been talking about for a while now. I'm pretty sure the people that are already on point, the people that are already on point that know about this stuff has been hearing about this stuff like elsewhere or been reading about these things for a long time, and all the stuff is starting to come into play, especially this Project BB stuff and the drones and how they gonna make the drones, look like certain things, act like it's attacking people and stuff, but it's really gonna be them and the drones attacking you, not, you know what I'm saying, UFOs and stuff like that, you know. But beware, you know, beware. I'm not telling you to let your guard down and all that. I'm telling you to keep your guards up, because anything is possible. We're not saying that UFOs and aliens are not real. We know what they are. It's a possibility, but why? Just ask yourself this. Why, after all the stuff that just happened, you know, the coming out about it and stuff, and he got these drones and stuff, we seeing these sightings everywhere, like frequent sightings everywhere. It wasn't like this before. It just so happened right after this, and how they said that the Marine Kingdom, when they talked about the Marine Kingdom and that these aliens stay underwater, that, you know, we have all these sightings, you know, and all that type of, you know what I'm saying, stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, in the book of Enoch, and it talked about how these fallen angels came down and showed the women, you know, how to beautify their faces with makeup and all this and that stuff. Like, how they created the wheel, you know, these people in ancient Mesopotamia and stuff like that. These, you know, they taught people how to do almost everything that they doing now, how to, you know, everything that we use, you know, tools and stuff wise, you know, we learned from them how to work the metals of the earth, you know, how to, you know, what they call it, not just mining. They probably showed them how to mine too, but how to do the ores and stuff, how to make the gold and all that, you know, how to extract the gold, how to extract the silvers and stuff like that, how to make the wheel, you know, we need wheels for everything now, you know, almost now, like cars, tractors, all that type of stuff. Man, how to make swords, how to do, you know, warfare, all that type of stuff, man. Like, if you think it's a game, go do your research.
And then I would do the same.
Those Christian churches exist.
Now we've mixed our blood.
That's right. I want you to be this way every time you take communion, and you ought to take it a lot. A lot.
Hold up, why they look like that preacher, Coleman, whatever Coleman, with the crazy eyes? Let me know down below if that's him. Let me know what y'all think about this. Isn't that weird? That's him.
Yes, sir. Now his blood is in my body.
Yes, sir.
It's in there. His blood is mixed with my blood.
What the hell?
And y'all can't see that, you know, the drinking of the blood in the body is demonic witchcraft practices? What do you know that drinks blood? Vampires, chupacabra, parasites. But your Messiah wants you to do that in remembrance of him. And that's scary because y'all can't see it. And that's how you know the dogma is so strong. The brainwash, the brain control is so strong. Y'all are blinded by the reality. Dogma. A principle or set of principles laid down by authority as incontrovertibly true. Oh, for some of y'all that don't know what incontrovertibly means, not able to be denied or disputed. So a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority that cannot be denied or disputed. Is the Vatican an authority? Is your government an authority? Isn't that crazy how religion and politics are synonymous? But they try to fool you with the separation of church and state. What are my intentions? Peace to God.
Hold on, let me tell you something. This is mind-blowing.
That's crazy, because everybody know, man, as a human, you're not supposed to be drinking no blood, you know, not only because of infections or diseases or, like you said, parasites, because it's against that law, you know what I'm talking about, as a Christian, especially if you believe, if you're religious, you know you're not supposed to be drinking nobody blood. No type of blood rituals are supposed to be done like that. We know that. That's a shame. He's supposed to be a pastor of a church, man. That's crazy.
Do y'all know that snake's venom or a serpent's venom, the anti-venom for that, if you get bit, do y'all know what they use? Do y'all know what they use? They use lamb's blood. A lamb's blood cures or acts as an anti-venom to a snake bite. The lamb's blood acts as an anti-venom for a snake bite, for a serpent bite. A lamb's blood. A lamb's blood. Bro, if that, like, bro, like revelation. Is that not revelation, bro? Like, am I tweaking? A lamb's blood is the anti-venom for a snake. The lamb's blood is an anti-venom. The lamb's blood, Jesus's blood. Let me chill. If that's not wild to y'all, I don't know what is.
Man, tell me that didn't just blow your mind. I tell you what, man, you learn something new every day, especially if you're on TikTok, man. Well, like I always say, do your own research, use your own discernment. But, man, the blood of a lamb, I never knew that. How ironic is that? The serpent and the blood of the lamb. That is crazy. It's always good to know, though. Tell you that.
For the people that still go to McDonald's and worse off, still feed their kids McDonald's, let me break this down for you in a scientific way. And I know you probably heard it before, but it bears repeating. McDonald's sells about 7 million hamburgers per day worldwide. So that's about 2 billion hamburgers per year. And I'm not talking about Burger King, Wendy's. I'm not talking about the steak you eat every night. I'm not talking about all that cow meat that we throw on the barbecue all summer. I'm talking about only McDonald's. There are only 1 billion cows on this planet. And 300 million of them live in India, where you cannot kill cows. So where are they getting this meat from? It's not from cows, because the math is not mathing. Stop feeding your children meat that you don't know what kind of meat it is. It's not cow meat.
Big facts. Like I always say, it's all about the plot, deploy, and the play on the people, on our minds, man. Don't fall for the boo-boo, man. Come on, man. It's simple. It's simple, man. What they say, the math ain't math and numbers don't add up.
Let's turn some plastic into fuel. Get that. So this is plastic crude oil. And as you can see, we have quite a bit of this plastic crude oil. We need to refine it and clean it up. So let's do that. After some time of the refiner being on, well, that plastic crude oil turns into plastiline. Now this is gas station material here, made from plastic waste. That's plastiline right there.
Now I want to see him put it in the vehicle and make that bad boy go. Y'all, it's Christmas. Get in the Christmas spirit, right? Everybody in Christmas spirit. I know people say, oh man, Christmas this, Christmas, that's pagan holiday. But tell me you ain't celebrating Christmas. You celebrating Christmas in some way, shape, or form, man. For real. You put up a tree, you celebrate. You putting up lights, you celebrate. You buying gifts, you celebrate. Don't forget to get you some merch don't forget to get you some Don't Fall for the Boo Boo merch, man. Get it for somebody else. If you don't want to get it for somebody else, get your kids a shirt, man. I got some shirts on there for little kids too, man. Go on out there and do your due diligence and bless somebody with some Don't Fall for the Boo Boo merch. Man, it's Don't Fall for the Boo Boo 2025 over here, man. All 2025, man. It's Don't Fall for the Boo Boo, man. Straight up. Don't forget that, man. The links are down below in the video description. When I say the video description, if you're on your phone, just click the title and it'll show, you know, what's up under that. That's the video description for the people who may not understand that, man. Don't just go in there looking, man. Click through there, put something in the cart to pay for it. Get it on, so you can get it shipped out of, you know what I'm saying, shipped out to you before Christmas or by Christmas. Come on now. And I appreciate you in advance, man.
So I work at restaurants overnight when nobody is here. See, it's closed. There's nobody here. Tell me this ain't the creepiest shit you've ever seen in your life. Look at this. Came over here to walk to the restrooms, and then I see this. Hell no.
Somebody called 911. No, I'm playing. Somebody called the priest, man. We need an exorcist over here. We need an exorcism immediately, man. Granny is walking on the walls, man. Granny is upside down, walking on the roof, man. Not on the roof, yeah, on the roof, man. On the ceiling, on the inside, man, like a spider. What's really going on, man? We know she need an exorcism, man. She got a demon attached to her.
Does anybody know who this chick right here is, dude? Look what she's talking about, Nikola Tesla 369. Listen to this.
Nikola Tesla said 369. If you can figure out those numbers, you basically got like meaning of life type shit. I figured it out. I'm working on putting all of this on paper, and I know that looks crazy. Do not tell me to take my meds. Psychiatrists never fucking prescribed them. Because even from a young age, I knew Big Pharma was fucked. That's such a lie. My mom told me antidepressants would make me gain weight, and she shamed me for it. But seriously, like, I think I actually figured out why 369 are important. They're all the same thing that exists on another plane of existence. We know that, but I can explain. I can actually fucking explain it. Okay, so part 2 to this shit, because it seems like it's blowing up and I just want to get on here real quick. So in order to understand numbers 369, you have to understand the rest of the numbers. Now, 0 and 1 is pretty easy to understand. Negative and positive, the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra, basically black hole, white hole. This helps us create a spectrum, aka our first dimensional plane or our 2D reality. It can spin one of two ways, out that way or out that way. And depending on which way it spins, which polar of spinning it takes, it's going to form either this or that. But they're technically the same thing, but different, and this is 3D. Basically, it's just a reflection of itself, which is why it's technically the same thing. And when you combine these two, you kind of get this 4D plane of existence. You can draw a bunch of parallel lines that kind of get shorter, and you start to see Earth, maybe? I don't even know, man. You start to see this kind of cylindrical shape, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Now, 5D is interesting. For 5D, we're gonna have to go over here. And before we do, let's recap. 0 is nothing, 1 is everything. Nothing and everything come together and start spinning around like two koi fish swimming together, start synthesizing and eventually solidify and transform into either one of these things, but it's technically the same thing, just being reflected on itself. And this is your 3D, which is why 3 is your first special number, because it's not really something, but it's nothing, but it's everything. Now to get 4, you're just going to duplicate this, and that's where you get your structure of a square from, and that's where you get that kind of cross from. So to get 4, we combined these two, aka we duplicated this but invertedly, and when you dot these 4 points and connect them together, what do you get? 360-degree square. 9 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, all right angles, which is exactly how we measure a circle as well. So 4 represents form, 3 represents creation, 2 represents polarity, and 0 and 1 is where that polarity comes from. You see how this is all building on itself? I have to redo this because this colored in circle should not be there, but that's what this is describing, is how this is all stacking in on itself and getting more and more complex. Now, 5 is life. It's us human beings and also animals, and I think maybe bacteria, like single-celled organisms, multi-celled organisms, and maybe no-celled organisms like viruses and bacteria. I think bacteria are single-celled. I don't know. These are beings with 5 senses, 5 chakras, but they're not necessarily aware of them yet. They're missing the third eye in the crown. Now, some of you guys mentioned this in my last video when we were referring to this crown by the 7. Yeah, that just represents the 7th crown chakra. But in order to get to the crown, in order to get to the understanding of it all, you have to open your eyes first. And how do you open your eyes? Back to the eye of Horus and the eye of Ra, you take the journey inward. You take the spiral into self. And when you get there, you open your third eye. You're able to see these 5 chakras for what they are and then start understanding them. The only way to understand is through meditation, aka rest, aka 7th day of rest, Holy Bible.
Tell me you got it. Let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. If you're a scientist, you know, you're a math man, you know what I'm saying, or a math girl. You know, let me know what's up. Do you get it? Do you get it? Did you understand it?
A man emailed me and said he wanted to share his spooky story time about his father, who was a landlord and was renting a unit to a woman who practiced Santeria in the unit, and all the creepy events that followed. I want to add a quick disclaimer that I know nothing about this subject, and I don't mean any offense to any religion. I know that everybody's different and have different beliefs. That said, the man says that he grew up in Louisiana and is used to people believing in hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, which are all different, but there it's commonly accepted that if somebody practices or believes in something different than you just accept it as their truth. You don't discredit it. He said this is the only unexplained creepy thing that he's ever experienced, though. This man has an apartment building in his family. It's only 4 units. It's not huge. It was passed down from his grandfather to his father, who was landlording at the time. We're calling his father Mr. B for the sake of this story. Mr. B lives in one of the units. His son lives in another unit. They have a long-term tenant named Maria, and the 4th unit opens up. A new tenant comes in. She puts down a large cash deposit. She pays 3 months upfront in cash, and she tells Mr. B that all she needs is privacy and not to be disturbed. Mr. B runs a background check. She's clean. She moves in. He says I can call her Yolanda for the story. He says Yolanda was probably early 60s. She wore long white dresses all the time, white head wraps with sometimes red accents. He says Yolanda at first was nice enough. She was polite, though she was quiet. She didn't talk to him much, though she would greet him in the hallways if they passed each other. And she really didn't leave her unit except for to bring in like large bags of groceries once or twice a week. Soon after Yolanda moves in, the smell of her cooking starts permeating the entire building. It's very, very spice heavy. And they're fine with this, Mr. B and his son. They're like, okay, she's just from a different culture, like it's whatever. But Maria, the other tenant, doesn't like it. And any chance she gets, she goes over to Mr. B's unit and tells him that she can't stand Yolanda and that she's using evil spices. Mr. B's son described him as a very passive elderly man, and he was just always trying to keep the peace. So he tells Maria, look, Maria, you cook all the time. We don't complain about your smells. You know, you can't evict someone for cooking. You're just going to have to get used to it. She's from a different culture. So Maria ends up going back to her unit, mumbling under her breath all the time. One day she comes over to Mr. B's again, and she goes, she's got animals in there. Apparently the building was 2 floors, so Maria and Yolanda shared 1 floor, and then Mr. B and his son shared the other floor. Maria says, I can hear her birds squawking all night. I can't sleep. You need to do something. And the only 2 rules in the building were that there was no smoking allowed and no animals. So Mr. B takes this concern seriously, and he goes down to Yolanda's unit. He's standing outside her door. He knocks. Maria's standing behind him. Yolanda comes to the door, opens the door, and he says he could see past her shoulders. Candles lit on every surface, animal skulls, and feathers on the floor. Yolanda quickly steps in front of the door to block his view, but Maria's standing behind him. She starts freaking out. She's like, this woman's evil. She runs back to her unit. Mr. B ignores it and trying to be polite, he says, hey, Yolanda, do you have animals in here? I just want to be clear that there are no animals allowed in the building. And she says, no, I do not. He also said that when Yolanda opened the door, a bunch of smoke, like hazy smoke, billowed out, and it just smelled like burning herbs. But he also warns her that there's no smoking in the building. She says, I don't smoke. So he goes back to his unit. He's feeling good about it. He figures if she does have animals in there, at least being warned, she'll get rid of them. The next day, Mr. B's son is leaving the building. He notices on his floor, on the 2nd floor, they have a long mirror in the hallway, and that mirror has spiderweb cracks all over it. But it was like somebody took care not to break the whole thing. He figures it's a fluke. He goes down to the 1st floor and he sees that the long mirror on that hallway is also cracked. Spiderweb cracks, same thing. He tells Mr. B. Mr. B is like, okay, we'll get him replaced. Doesn't think anything of it. That night around 11 p.m., there's a large commotion coming from the 1st floor. So Mr. B and his son go down to the 1st floor to figure out what's going on. And they find Maria crying, screaming, speaking Spanish at Yolanda. And Maria is claiming that Yolanda has placed a hex on her and broken all the mirrors in her unit. Yolanda is standing outside of her unit very calmly, just staring at Maria. And she just tells Mr. B, I don't know what she's saying. Mr. B calms Maria down. He says, there's no way she could get into your unit. She didn't break your mirrors. I don't know what happened. Maybe the building moved. Again, just trying to keep the peace. Maria freaks out, runs into her apartment, and comes back out with a crucifix and what his son described as probably a vial of holy water. She points this at Yolanda, and Yolanda projectile vomits all over the floor. Mr. B quickly runs to Yolanda's aid. He says, are you okay? She says, I'm not feeling well. I need to go to bed. Keep in mind, Mr. B is elderly, so his son goes to get things to clean up the hallway. While Mr. B's son is cleaning up the mess, Maria comes back outside of her unit. She grabs him by the shoulder. She shakes him, and she says, you need to get rid of her. You have no idea what she invited into this building. Next day, Mr. B's son is over at his unit. They're trying to figure out what to do about Maria and Yolanda not getting along, and Mr. B starts complaining that he doesn't feel well and tells his son that they're going to have to talk about it another time because he's going to go to sleep. As Mr. B's son is leaving, Yolanda shows up at the door, and she's got a pot of something in her hands, and she tells Mr. B, I know you're not feeling well. I think something's going around. This always helps me and people in my culture feel better, and she hands him what he describes as a stew. Mr. B says, thank you. She says, no, eat some now. You'll feel better. So Mr. B and his son go back in the unit. Mr. B's son is like, I don't know if you should eat that. And he's like, no, she's just being nice. He's trying to keep the peace. He takes a bite. His son's like, how is it? And he's like, oh, it's good. It's different. He said there were chunks of meat in it. It was very spice heavy, and there was a slight metallic taste. That night, Mr. B is violently ill, but he feels better the next day. It's not long before Maria is back complaining about a sour smell coming from Yolanda's unit. Mr. B and his son had also noticed it from their floor, but they didn't want to be rude. They didn't know if it had to do with her cooking, but at this point, the smell was too much to ignore. Maria keeps telling them that she has something dead in there, so they go back to her unit. Mr. B and his son knock on the door. Yolanda comes to the door, and they said when she opened the door, the scent was overpowering. It was like somebody had left rotting meat in the sun for days. They also see on the walls she has drawn strange symbols in a brown substance that looked like arrows and circles. Mr. B says, Yolanda, you got to take care of the smell in here. I don't know what that is, but it's repulsive. You got to get rid of it. She just stares at him with this blank look, and she says, I've been cleaning. I'll take care of it. She also tells him that one of the tenets of her signing the lease there and paying upfront in cash was that she does not want to be disturbed. Mr. B at that point takes a firmer stance, and his son said that he never saw him really get firm with anybody, but he says, I wouldn't have to keep coming down here if there weren't constantly issues from your unit. Yolanda just stares at him and closes the door in his face, and they're both a little mad, so they go back to their unit. They were only back in their own units for a little while when Maria shows up again on their floor, and she's crying, banging on both of their doors. They come out. She's carrying on and on again. She leads them to her floor, and outside of her door is a dead dove, which appears to have been burned alive. Mr. B starts clutching his chest. He's having chest pains. They go back up to his unit. His son is very concerned at this point that the stress of all this is going to have negative effects on Mr. B's health, so he calls the ambulance. They come check him out. Clear him, they tell him to take it easy, but Mr. B's son decides that they need to evict Yolanda because all of this is too much. He also noted at this point in his email that although Maria was not like a close friend, she'd been a tenant of theirs for 12 years and they trusted her. They had no issues with her other than her being on occasion a little bit dramatic, but nothing to this extent. So Mr. B's son decides that he's going to have a conversation with him the next day about getting rid of Yolanda. In the morning, there's a knock on Mr. B's son's door. It's Mr. B. He comes in and he is just beside himself, and he's really, really moved and upset. He tells his son that he had a dream of his late wife. Mr. B was a widower who had lost his wife 7 years prior to cancer, and his wife Luann was a deeply religious woman. He loved her very much and always said that she was the light to his dark. He tells his son that Luann appeared to him in a dream. He never dreamed of her even though he wanted to, and Luann was on the end of his bed, and she told him that he should not evict Yolanda. He asked her what she was talking about, and she said, I don't know what she's doing, but you're safer with her than without her. And then she disappeared, and Mr. B was very shaken, very visibly upset, because he said, why would she come to me in a dream to talk to me about Yolanda? I've been waiting for her all this time. Mr. B's son is like, that's enough. We've had it. It's affecting your psyche now. And he convinces Mr. B that they're going to evict her today. He gets the paperwork drawn up. He prorates the amount so they can give her back some money because she hasn't even been there for 3 months at this point. And they go down and serve her with a 30-day notice. Yolanda is very calm when they tell her. She says, it's fine. I'll leave within the week. She says, I have to tell you, by getting rid of me, you're not fixing the problem. Whatever you're afraid of is already here. Within the week, Yolanda is moving out. A friend comes to help her get her stuff. They pack up an old rusty brown van. Mr. B goes down to check out the unit, and it's clean except for a small strand of black beads that was left with a note from Yolanda that said, my gift to you. Mr. B shows his son, and they throw it in the trash. 1 month later, Mr. B was diagnosed with stage 4 emphysema. He was never a smoker, and he passed away 3 months after that. Mr. B's son continued living in and landlording the building for the next year, but he said unexplained things happened all the time. For example, any mirror that he would put in the building would break within days, and try as he might, he could not find anybody to rent Yolanda's unit. Within that year, Maria also fell extremely ill. Even though she was an otherwise healthy woman, her adult daughter ended up taking her to move in with her. He says they didn't keep in touch. He doesn't know how she ended up doing, but he eventually sold the building. He says since moving, he has not had anything strange happen to him, but you can't convince him that Yolanda didn't have a hand in his father's untimely death. He actually said that he's doing well these days, but his takeaway from the experience is that even if you don't believe in something, that doesn't mean it's not real. Keep sending me your spooky, scary stories. I'll keep adding them to this playlist, and I have polls on my Insta every day where you can vote on the next story. Y'all actually voted on this one, so I hope I did it justice.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. The whole time what kept getting to me was her looking like this, looking like that. Like, did she see something? Was something else going on with somebody there with her? Or was she, looking off like a teleprompter or off a paper or something? Because I want to know how she remembered that whole story like that. Like, exactly like that. Did she have a good memory like that? Or what's going on, man? Because that's crazy. Good storytelling skills and memory skills, too. But what I want to know is, do y'all think Yolanda was the good witch, or the other one, Mary or Marie? Which one? It's obvious it was two witches. Like, come on, man. Which one of them was protecting the dad? You know what I'm saying? Or the whole place? Which one was protecting the dad? Which one you think bewitched the dad? I want to know down below in the comment section, because that was definitely a crazy story. Because what Yolanda left, was it really a protection bracelet, or was it really protection jewelry, or was it something more sinister? Let me know down below. You think the other one got territorial? What, I just want to know what you think down below in the comment section. And with that said, this is the end of the video, man. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I always tell you, I see you in the next video. It's your boy Koozie. I'm out. Holla.